Tomb Ritual. Let's start with the Skull and Bones Society at Yale University, arguably the VIP room of secret societies. This society is also known as Order 322. Picture this: a bunch of Ivy League students dressed in robes that look like rejected Hogwarts costumes, gathered in a windowless building ominously called the Tomb. The first thing they do? Well, legend has it, they confess their deepest, darkest secrets in front of the group. Imagine spilling your soul about stealing candy from a baby, only this time your audience includes future senators and presidents. Fun, right? But here's the kicker. They also allegedly perform bizarre ceremonies involving a skull, a human skeleton, and candles flickering like something straight out of a low-budget horror movie. It's like a Halloween party but with real skeletons. Rumor has it, one of the skulls belongs to none other than Geronimo, the famous Apache leader. The Bonesman reportedly stole his skull from his grave. If true, that's not just creepy, it's downright disrespectful. What's next? A seance to apologize? Let's not ignore the elephant, or should we say skeleton, in the room. These rituals aren't just eccentric. They're designed to instill a sense of brotherhood, or sisterhood, because yes, women are now allowed, and a lifetime of secrets. But think about it. How does confessing you failed calculus build loyalty? Maybe they're too traumatized to betray each other. Oh, and they have a handshake. Of course they do. It's secret, intricate, and just complicated enough to ensure only the initiated can pull it off. Imagine fumbling that during a meeting with the President of the United States, who, by the way, might also be a bonesman. That's a career-ending handshake fail right there. Here's the shocking part. Many bonesmen have climbed to positions of immense power, from US presidents like George W. Bush to Supreme Court justices. So, are they networking geniuses or just very committed cosplayers? Either way, if someone invites you to their tomb, maybe bring your own flashlight and a lawyer. Fake cannibalism. So, fake cannibalism is where secret societies really stretch the definition of bonding activity. Participants are served a meal that's allegedly made from human flesh. Relax, it's not actual cannibalism, we hope. Instead, it's usually an elaborate hoax involving animal meat, creative storytelling, and some very questionable acting skills. The ritual begins with a dramatic setup, dim lighting, creepy music, and someone in a ceremonial robe announcing, "Tonight, we feast on the ultimate taboo." Participants are then handed plates of meat and told to eat it to prove their loyalty. The shocking twist? Some groups use props like fake human bones to sell the illusion. The humor comes in waves. First, there's the rookie who hesitates, wondering if they've accidentally joined a horror movie cult. Then, there's the person who takes a bite, declares it's actually delicious, and asks for seconds. Meanwhile, the leaders are desperately trying not to laugh at how seriously everyone's taking it. The logic here is about breaking societal taboos and testing how far members are willing to go for the group. It's less about the actual act and more about the psychological barrier. But let's be honest. The real test is not spitting it out when you're told it's human. Afterward, there's usually a big reveal where someone says, "Relax, it was just pork." Half of the group laughs in relief, while the other half makes a mental note to rethink their life choices. Blood binding ceremony. If you thought pinky promises were serious, welcome to their edgier emo cousin, the blood binding ceremony. This ritual is exactly what it sounds like. Participants cut themselves and mingle their blood as a sign of eternal loyalty. Sounds like a great way to bond and potentially contract something, doesn't it? The ritual dates back centuries and symbolizes unity on a primal level. After all, nothing says, "I've got your back," like swapping bodily fluids with your secret society buddies. Shocking fact, some groups even have elaborate chants or oaths they recite while bleeding, turning the whole thing into a very intense poetry slam. The funny part? There's always that one guy who faints at the sight of blood. Imagine the dramatic tension of the ritual being interrupted by someone hitting the floor. And then there's the debate about whose turn it is to clean the knife. Spoiler, it's always the new recruit. The logical thread is clear. This ritual is about trust and sacrifice. If you're willing to bleed for the cause, you're probably not going to spill its secrets. But here's the kicker. Modern groups often use fake blood now, partly for safety and partly because no one wants a lawsuit over an infected paper cut. And after it's all done, everyone awkwardly holds tissues to their wounds while pretending it doesn't sting like crazy. Glass walks. Alright, so imagine walking barefoot on shards of broken glass. Sounds like a fun day at the beach, right? Except this beach is brought to you by your local secret society, where pain is the appetizer and courage is the main course. The idea behind the glass walk is to test your bravery and mental focus. Apparently, nothing screams "I'm loyal to the cause" like tiptoeing on shards that can give your feet a free tattoo of cuts. Now, here's the shocking part. Many of these secret societies use a special type of glass. It's not your typical wine glass from last night's dinner party, but rather a mix of tempered glass that's been broken in a way to reduce its sharpness. But don't get too comfy. Step the wrong way and you're leaving with more scars than a Marvel villain. What's fascinating is how this ritual has ancient roots. Walking on sharp objects dates back to firewalking ceremonies in cultures like India and Polynesia. Somehow, secret societies thought, hey, fire isn't enough. Let's bring glass into the mix. The humor here? The newbie in the group always thinks it's a hazing prank until someone screams halfway across the pile. The logical thread? This is less about testing physical endurance and more about trusting your mind to overcome the instinct to freak out. The glass walk is basically a weird form of meditation, just with the added risk of needing a tetanus shot afterward. Surprising fact, some participants have been known to break into tears, not from pain, but from the overwhelming realization that they can conquer their fears. Now, the funny part is what happens post-walk. Picture a circle of members huddled together, everyone comparing foot injuries like battle scars. Someone always pulls out a Polaroid camera because secrecy only applies until the photo op, and snaps a shot of their bloodied feet for posterity. Living burial initiation. Now this one is straight out of a horror movie. The living burial initiation is exactly what it sounds like. Participants are buried alive. Don't worry, it's usually not permanent. The idea is to simulate death and rebirth, pushing participants to confront their mortality, because apparently therapy isn't intense enough. So secret societies decide, let's stick you in a coffin for a few hours instead. Participants are often placed in shallow graves, completely with a breathing tube. Yes, they plan for survival, but that doesn't stop the "what if they forget about me" thought from creeping in. Shocking fact, in some variations, participants are left underground for hours, forcing them to battle panic, darkness, and the occasional bug crawling up on their nose. The humor here? There's always that one member who tries to act cool about it until they realize just how claustrophobic they really are. Then there's the logistical issue. Who gets to dig the grave? Spoiler, it's always the rookie. And post-initiation, the person emerging from the grave looks less spiritual rebirth and more zombie rising from the dead. Logically, this ritual is about facing the fear of death and learning to trust your group. The idea is that if you survive this, you'll come out stronger and more devoted. But here's the kicker. Modern societies sometimes use VR simulations instead of actual graves. Less dirt, same trauma. Afterward, there's always a weird mix of relief and laughter, with someone inevitably joking, "So, does this mean I'm officially undead now?" Firewalk. So, the Firewalk. Think of it as the original hot girl walk, except it's not metaphorical, it's literally hot. This ritual involves walking barefoot across a bed of burning embers. Yes, real fire, no gimmicks. If you thought glass walking was wild, welcome to its fiery cousin. The ritual purpose is straightforward. Face your fears, prove your bravery, and probably burn off a few calories while you're at it. The surprising part? Most people don't get burned. Why? Science, my friend. As long as you keep moving and don't stand there like you're waiting for an Uber, the heat doesn't have enough time to sear your skin. The funny part? There's always that one person who sprints across there like their life depends on it, leaving the rest of the group wondering if they just signed up for a track meet. Then there's the overly confident one who strolls too slowly and ends up hopping off the coals like a Looney Tunes character. The logical thread here is about mind over matter. Secret societies use the Firewalk to instill discipline and focus. If you can walk on fire, you can definitely handle, say, keeping secrets or attending 3-hour meetings about world domination. Shocking fact, some societies take it a step further and have participants chant while walking. Multitasking on fire? Now that's impressive. Post-ritual, there's usually a lot of dramatic hugging, high-fiving, and someone shouting, "We're invincible!" until they realize they left their shoes too close to the fire pit. Naked Truth Ceremony. Now we're really getting into the deep end. The Naked Truth Ceremony is all about baring your soul, literally. Participants strip down as a symbol of vulnerability and honesty. You'd think this would be reserved for therapy sessions, but nope, it's a full-blown secret society thing. The humor practically writes itself. Picture a group of people standing around trying to look serious while pretending they're not freezing. There's always one person who forgot to hit the gym and nervously laughs the whole time. Meanwhile, the leader of the ceremony is probably wearing a cape because apparently they're exempt from the whole vulnerability part. And here's the shocking part. The ritual often includes a mirror of truth, where participants have to look at themselves and confess their deepest fears or secrets. It's essentially group therapy, but with a much higher awkwardness factor. The logic here is about shedding pretense. By stripping away material barriers, participants are meant to feel equal and united. It's a noble idea, but let's be honest. It's hard to focus on deep metaphors when someone's stomach growls in the silence. Post-ceremony, everyone scrambles to get dressed as quickly as possible, and someone inevitably cracks a joke about it being the weirdest first date ever. Mystery box test. Ever heard of Schrödinger's cat? Well, this is like that, except you're the cat. The mystery box test involves placing your hand into a box filled with something. Could be feathers, could be snakes, could be absolutely nothing. The catch? You won't know until it's too late. The suspense is the real killer here. Participants are told to keep their hand in the box no matter what they feel. Some societies even narrate ominous possibilities like it could be venomous spiders or a plush toy. Spoiler, it's usually neither, but the power of suggestion works wonders. The humor lies in the reactions. There's always that one person who screams before they even touch anything, while another calmly pulls their hand out holding a live crab like it's no big deal. Then there's the debate afterward. Did you really feel something, or was your mind playing tricks on you? The logic is simple. This ritual is a test of courage and trust in the unknown. It's about pushing past fear and realizing most of it exists only in your head. But here's the twist. Some societies do throw in the occasional live critter just to keep things spicy. Post-test, there's usually a lot of nervous laughter and exaggerated storytelling. I swear I felt a snake! Dude, it was literally a piece of string. Cake of light. Okay, let's get weird. The cake of light is not your grandma's Sunday dessert. This infamous ritual stems from Thelma, a spiritual philosophy founded by Aleister Crowley. The cake is a symbolic snack made of honey, oil, spices, and, brace yourself, bodily fluids. Yeah, you heard that right. And no, this isn't a bad joke from a cooking show gone rogue. The ritual involves consuming this cake as a form of communion to connect with divine energy. Participants claim it's deeply spiritual, but if you ask an outsider, they'll probably call it Bizarre Baking 101. The kicker? The recipe often varies depending on how daring the group is feeling that day. Let's just say some take the secret ingredient part a little too literally. Humor alert. There's always one poor soul in the group who didn't read the fine print about the ingredients and find out mid-bite. Their face is worth 1,000 words. And all of them are unprintable. Also, what happens if you're gluten-free? Do they offer a cake of light? Logically speaking, the cake of light ritual serves as a binding element, a literal consumption of the group's shared energy and beliefs. It's about unity, trust, and an iron stomach. Shocking fact. Some historical texts claim these cakes were once used to anoint participants. Yes, they smeared it on their bodies before eating it. Why stop at one level of weird when you can double down? And let's not forget about the cleanup. Imagine scrubbing the bowls after the ritual, muttering, "I didn't sign up for this when I joined." Mock executions. If the living burial wasn't enough, how about pretending to die in a completely different way? Mock executions are designed to scare participants into appreciating life. Imagine being blindfolded, led to a mysterious location, and hearing someone cock a fake gun. Relax, it's all part of the initiation, or so they say. The drama is real. The group often stages the scene with eerie precision, fake guns, swords, or even nooses. Participants are made to face their end, complete with speeches and dramatic pauses. Shocking fact. Some societies add sound effects, like the ominous click of an empty gun, or a guillotine swoosh, just to make it extra terrifying. The funny part? There's always one participant who, instead of crying, starts laughing nervously or yelling, "Wait, is this for real?" The executioner usually struggles to stay in character while trying not to break into giggles. And let's not forget the one who trips over their blindfold while being led to their execution spot. The logic behind this is to instill gratitude and clarity. Nothing makes you reevaluate your priorities like a near-death experience, fake or not. But let's be honest. Some people probably come out of this ritual with lifelong trust issues instead of enlightenment. After the execution, there's usually an awkward group hug where the leader says something deep like, "Now you know the value of life." Meanwhile, everyone's secretly Googling how to get out of a secret society.